Hello guys, it's Drew. So now that Blizzard's given us an official Zul'Gurub release date, which is April 15th, I thought I would come out with an updated best in slot gear guide. So in today's video, I'm going to give you an updated, fully best in slot gear guide for Phase 4, as well as I'm going to go over the pieces that drop in Zul'Gurub that are good for Shadow Priests, and then I'm going to give you a realistic best in slot gear guide as well. For those of you that don't know, Zul'Gurub is a new 20-man raid that's coming out, and you'll be able to do it 2 times a week. It resets about every 3 days, and Blizzard did announce that it's going to be released on Wednesday for me, the 15th, and then it will be doing a normal reset, so you will be able to do 2 Zul'Gurubs in the first 3 days of it being released. So what that means for us is we have 2 shots at getting some of the awesome pieces that drop in ZG. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight a couple of the best pieces that drop in ZG for Shadow Priest. The pieces that I'm going to go over are just what I think the best and the biggest pieces to aim for in ZG. But keep in mind that there are also blues that drop off of the bosses that I will not be highlighting specifically, but they are pretty good for any healing priests out there, let's say, that want to build the Shadow set, and they're just generally better than a lot of the current available previs. So the first item I am going to go over is the Band of Servitude. This is a ring that actually, the cool thing about this ring is that it drops off 5 of the bosses in ZG, so you're going to be able to have a chance, 5 chances to get it. So what this is it's a ring, gives 9 int, 8 stam, and 23 damage and healing. And why this is good is because up until Blackwing Lair, the ring slot has been pretty difficult for the Shadow Priest to get pieces in. In BWO, the only ring that really drops for Shadow Priest is the Shadow Ring off Trash. There is the other ring that gives hit, but that's generally better on a Warlock or a Mage. So the Band of Servitude allows you to replace your Eye of Orgrimmar or your Underworld band. So this is a great ring to get. It's an awesome ring, and I'm glad that it's going to be able become available to Shadow Priest now in ZG. The next piece that I'm going to go over is, in my opinion, the biggest piece that drops for Shadow Priest in ZG, and that is the Zandalarian Hero Charm, or abbreviated for short, it's ZHC. So what this is, it's a trinket, and it's an on-use trinket. It says increases your spell damage by 204 and your healing by 408 for 20 seconds. Every time you cast a spell, the bonus is reduced by 17 spell damage and 34 healing. So this is pretty much a TOEP that is now available to Shadow Priest, and the best thing about this is that it's a 100% drop chance in Zul'Gurub. The last boss, Hakar, drops this quest item called the Eye of Hakar, and what you pretty much do is you accept the quest and you turn it in and you get to pick this trinket. So for people like me that haven't been able to get a TOEP yet, I am now going to be able to get the Zandalarian Hero Charm, and it's going to be a huge increase to my DPS. I'm super excited about the ZHC coming out in ZG. Next piece is another big piece that's going to become available to Shadow Priest, and that is the Betrayer's Boots. So these drop off of High Priest the Call in Zul'Gurub. They're 12 int, 8 stam, 12 spirit, and they give 30 damage and healing. So up until now, unless you're lucky enough to get the Snowblind boots, which are your best in slot game, you have been wearing probably Malachai's, and this is a huge upgrade to the Malachai's. And the Snowblind boots are 32 damage and healing, and these are only 2 less than that. So this is another huge piece that you are going to be able to get in Zul'Gurub, and it drops off of High Priest the Call, like I said. The next piece I'm going to talk about is the Touch of Chaos. Another great piece that's going to become available to Shadow Priests. The only thing about this piece is that other casters are going to want this as well, but it drops off a car, and it's a wand, gives 18 damage and healing. It's an amazing upgrade. Only 1 damage and healing less than the best in slot game wand. So if you get this and you wear it till the end of Classic, you're only going to have 1 damage less, so it's not that big of a deal. And another great thing about this wand is that it is a shadow wand. So for soloing, farming, and PvPing, things like that, shadow wands do scale with shadow weaving. So that is another little niche thing that's good about it for Shadow Priests. The next pieces of gear, specifically rings that I'm going to talk about, are the Zanzul set. So these are blue rings that drop in Zul'Gurub. The Zanzul's band drops off of High Priest Vinoxus, and this is a ring. It gives 13 int, 1% hit and 4 MP5. So by itself, it doesn't seem that good, but as you can see, it does have the set bonus. There are 2 of them, so there's the Zanzil's Band, and I'll just bring it over, the other tab over now, the Zanzil's Seal as well. So by themselves, they're not that great, but the set bonus is what really makes them good. It's a 2 set bonus, so you have to wear both of the rings to get both of the set bonuses. One of them is that it gives 1% hit, and the other one is that it gives 6% damage and healing. So that is an amazing set bonus. So just from wearing this one gives 1% hit and 4 MP5. The Zanzil Seal gives another 1% hit and 11 damage and healing. So by themselves they each give 1 hit, but with the set bonus they give an additional hit. So with these 2 rings you're going to get 3% hit, which is an amazing upgrade from the rings that are available now. If you don't have both of them, I personally wouldn't wear them unless you really need the hit. But with now Bloodvine becoming available, which is another huge upgrade that I am going to be talking about later in the video for Shadow Priests, I wouldn't wear them unless you can get the set bonus. So those are amazing as well. And the last Zul'Gurub piece I'm going to talk about for Shadow Priests is another big upgrade that I've previously mentioned in some videos, is the Hexer's Cover. This is a blue headpiece that drops off Jindo the Hexer in Zul'Gurub. 10 int, 10 stamina, gives 41 damage and healing. So up until now, I personally have been wearing the rank 10 Head and Shoulders. If you haven't gotten that, you might have been wearing a plus 41 shadow damage green. You could be wearing the shadow goggles. This is an upgrade to all of that. This is 41 shadow damage and healing with the new the focus enchant. It's going to be another 8, so you're going to get 49 from your helmet. Huge piece to get, and you're going to be wearing this for a while. So those are the specific pieces of gear I wanted to highlight that drop in Zul'Gurub for Shadow Priest. And next up, I'm going to be giving you a full best in slot guide for this current phase. So here we are on the classic WoW head gear planner, and like always, I will be leaving the links to these gear builds in the comments, so you can go through it yourself and bookmark it and save this for yourself. So this is going to be the Phase 4 best in slot gear for Shadow Priests, the best gear available to Shadow Priests at the time in Phase 4. So first we're going to start with the Hexer's Cover. Just briefly talked about this. This is going to be a huge piece. It's very big amount of spell power, and you're going to be wearing this probably until Nax, honestly. So definitely a great piece to pick up. Next, the Choker of the Fire Lord. Talked about this piece to death. It dropped an MC. If you don't have this by now, you must be pretty unlucky, but this is your best in slot game neck. Next is the Mantle of the Blackwing Cabal. This is your best in slot game shoulders. The only thing better than these are the rime covered mantle in Nax, and it's literally only 1 damage more, and you probably won't get those because they have crit on them, and they're generally better on mages. So for all purpose of the game and the gear, this is pretty much your best in slot game, and this is probably the biggest piece of gear that you should be working towards getting right now in the game if you haven't gotten this yet. Then we have the Cloak of the Broodlord. This drops off Nefarian. I mistakenly said it dropped off Broodlord in my other videos, but this does drop off Nefarian. This is your best in slot game cloak. Now with the Cloak of Consumption coming out in Zul'Gurub, which is a piece I didn't go over before because it's not very good for Shadow Priests, but it is good for other casters, so that means this cloak will be a lot less contested for you, and you should be able to get this in Blackwing Lair, and like I said, it's your best in slot game. Then we have the Bloodvine Vest. So this is something I haven't gone over specifically yet, but the Bloodvine set is a craftable set, and it gives a lot of hit. It's very good. The chest gives 2% hit and 27 damage, which is insane for a blue. All you need is some Mooncloth and some Powerful Mojo Bloodvine, which is in ZG. If you haven't heard about Bloodvine yet, you must have been living under a rock, to be honest, because everyone's been talking about it and saving Mooncloth. But for the best in slot game, you only wear the vest, but you'll see later I will be talking about the full set. So that's going to be your best in slot game vest, and you'll honestly probably be wearing this until Naxxramas when you get the robes, and even then, right when you get the robes, you have to itemize for the hit as well. So Bloodvine vest, very good piece. You're probably not going to be replacing this for a long time. Next, we have the Bracers of Arcane Accuracy. These are your best in slot game bracers. I have them here on this list because they are technically your best in slot, but most raids give these to locks and mages first. Later on, the Rock Fury bracers will become available, which are pretty much the same thing as the bracers of Arcane Accuracy. They're actually better. Those are actually probably your best in slot game, excuse me. But these are very, very good, and these are going to be your best in slot until then. Then we have the Ebony Flame Gloves. These are in Nax from Ebon Rock. These are a piece that are very good for warlocks as well. So unless your guild really likes you, or you know all the other warlocks in your raid have gotten a pair of these, you probably won't get that until then. But they are eventually going to become available to you, and they are your best in slot game gloves. Next, the Fire Moss Clutch. This is a piece that should be defaulted to you. It's best in slot game for Shadow Priest. It's really only okay for shamans, and I don't think it's good for any other classes. But this is a piece that if you're raiding Blackwing Lair every week, you will eventually get this. This is your best in slot game, and it's really, really good. Now we have the Fel Infused Leggings. This is a piece that is a lot harder to get. In my other videos, and especially with the transfers opening up and things like that, it's a lot harder to get World Boss Loot on my server. I was lucky enough to get the Snowblind shoes when I did. Never got the Fel Infused Leggings, and I probably honestly won't be getting those for a very, very, very long time. But they are your best in slot game, and that is why they are on this list. They drop off Kazakh, by the way. Then we have the Snowblind shoes. Same thing about the Fel Infused Leggings, except these drop off Azure Ghost. These are your best in slot game boots. But like I said before, the Betrayer's boots are, pretty comparable to these and a lot easier to get. Then we have the Band of Dark Dominion, drops from Trash and Blackwing Lair. It's a unique ring, so you can only wear one of them. So eventually, once every other warlock in your raid gets one, you will eventually get one of these. So that is good. And this is another best in slot game piece as well. Then we have the Ring of Spell Power, the second best ring available to you at this time. It's 33 damage and healing. It's just a really, really good, really, really beefy ring. If you have one of these, it's a very good piece. You won't be replacing it till AQ 40. If not, then you should probably be aiming for the Zanzal set like I was talking about before. Next we have Toep. Toep is technically a little bit better than ZHC, but ZHC is a little bit worse than Toep, if not the same for Shadow Priest with the way that snapshots work. So for this list, I put Toep, but ZHC is just as good and a lot easier to get now because it's 100% drop rate, and you will be able to roll or have the chance to be given one every lockout. And finally, for the gear, we have Nef's Tier. It's just on this list because it's technically your best in slot. This is a very, very contested piece by all casters. Unless you win this in like a pug/roll, a GDKP, or your loot council loves you, you won't probably be able to get this for a little bit. But it is technically your best in slot game. And for this gear here, I have 15% hit, including the talents. So we have 10 from the talents, 2 from the vest, 2 from the tier, and 1 from the accuracy. The hit cap is 16. The 1% honestly isn't gonna kill you at this point in the game, so I only have 15% hit here, which is more than enough. But that, keep in mind, is with Nef's Tier, which is a very hard piece to get. And then for the items, we have the Lockamere, drops off Nefarian. This is a huge piece. Only thing better than this for you in the game is from Naxxramas, so if you get this, you can probably wear this for the rest of the game. And the offhand that I would wear with Lockamere is the Master Dragon Slayer's Orb. This comes from the Head of Nefarian quest, which is another 100% drop rate. So if you do get Lockamere, definitely aim for the Master Dragon Slayer's Orb in Blackwing Lair. You will wear this for a long time. If you don't have Lockamere, it is not worth using any other one-hander, and I would just use Anathema. And then for the wand, we have the Touch of Chaos. As you can see here, the gear planner only says 459 spell damage, but that doesn't take into account enchants, and it doesn't take into the account of just actual shadow damage. So I did the math, and with all the enchants and everything else available to you, you have about 633 spell damage, and another big enchant that I actually didn't mention that I should now is there is a plus 18 spell damage enchant that is going to become available in the game, and the way you get that is by getting exalted with the Zandalarian tribe. So definitely aim for going for Exalted Reputation, because that 18 spell damage enchant is best in slot until the Saffron enchants become available in Nax. So with all the enchants, shoulder enchant, everything, plus spell damage enchant on your weapon, and Librams, everything else, you will have about 633 shadow damage from the current best in slot gear. So something else I like to do with every phase and every updated best in slot guide is come out with a realistic best in slot guide, which is just something I like to put together, which is a bunch of pieces that I think are easier for most Shadow Priests to get, because, you know, not everyone's going to be able to get an F's tier. So this is just a compilation of pieces that are specifically designated for Shadow Priests or easier for Shadow Priests to get, and now a lot of new pieces from Zul'Gurub and a lot easier pieces to get for everyone. So we're just going to start going through the realistic best in slot guide, and as you can notice, I have the 4 pieces, the first actually 5 pieces here, the same. These are going to be your best in slot game for a very long time, except the Hexer's cover. But like in the other guide, these are all best in slot. And just want to go over one more time the Mantle of the Blackwing Cabal. This is the biggest piece of gear that you should be aiming for as a Shadow Priest right now at this current phase of the game. If you're in a DKP guild, this is the piece that you want to save up for, unless it's the Nef's tier. But this is a huge piece for Shadow Priests, and this is your best in slot game. But other than that, we have the Choker, the Cloak of the Broodlord, 2 other best in slot game pieces, the Hexer's cover, the Bloodvine vest. And now that I have the full set available in front of me, let's go over that a little further in detail. So for the realistic best in slot guide, I put all 3 Bloodvine pieces, because I do think that the full set is a great way to build a set of gear. So let's say you're a healing priest and you want to start a shadow set, or you're a newer Shadow Priest and you're re-rolling, you're new to the game, whatever, you can now get the full Bloodvine set and build your gear around that, because with the talents and the full Bloodvine set, you will get 14% hit, which is huge. And this is for the last gear guide, the full best in slot, we had 15% hit. For this one, we do only have 14% hit, but that is because 14, 15, 16, as a Shadow Priest, you get 10% hit from talents. So 14 to 16 hit, you're generally going to be good. So you get all your hit right here from the Bloodvine leggings, the Bloodvine boots, the Bloodvine vest. The leggings are an amazing piece. They give 37 damage and healing in 1 hit. The boots give 19 damage and healing in 1 hit. And something I do just want to go over is about this regards to the set bonus. The set bonus requires 300 tailoring, not the actual ability to equip the set. So if you're not a tailor, you can equip the set. The set bonus isn't generally that good for Shadow Priest, because it gives 2% crit, which would be good for other casters, but for Shadow Priest, big chunks of your damage, if not most of your damage, comes from Mind Flight and Shadow Word Pain, which cannot crit. Only Mind Blast can crit. So unless you're already a tailor, or you do want the 2% crit for whatever reason, you do not have to go for the 300 tailoring. So the Bloodvine set is a huge thing that's coming out, that's going to be a lot easier for people to start becoming Shadow Priests if they haven't already. Next, for the bracers, we have the Dryad's wrist bindings. I have these here. In my other videos, people have commented that these are pretty hard to get, especially now that for whatever reason Blizzard removed the plus rep from a loss. Used to get like 30 or 3 rep, I think, from a loss. It's not a lot, but it does add up. And I just have these here because these are available to you through just by doing Warsong Gulch. If you do enough Warsong Gulch, you do play enough, you will eventually get these, and you will be able to wear these for a long time, unless you get the Bracers of Arcane Accuracy. But I left those out of here because I do like to give those to mages and warlocks first. And then with Ebony Flame Gloves, I have these here as well, because eventually you will get a pair of these. If not before every warlock has one, you will get a pair of these. The Fire Moss Clutch, best in slot game, you will be auto-looted this piece most likely. The Bloodvine leggings, the Bloodvine boots, like I just talked about. The Band of Dark Dominion I have here because it does drop off trash. It is unique. You will eventually get one of these. And then for the second ring, I have the Band of Servitude because it drops in ZG. 5 different bosses drop it. It's an great upgrade to the rings that are available right now in the game, and it's a great ring to have alongside the Band of Dark Dominion. If you do want to get hit capped and you do want to wear the Zanzos rings, go for it. I would be curious to see the math between 14% hit and 16% hit, but I personally haven't been able to see a difference between 14 and 16% hit. That's a general sweet spot of hit for Shadow Priest because the 10% hit from talents is so much. Then we have the ZHC. Put this here because Toep is very rare drop in MC. ZHC is 100% drop in ZG, so I personally will be getting a Zandalarian Hero Charm, and that's why I have it here. Then we have the Briarwood Reed. It's not an F tier, but it is a great trinket, and you will be wearing this for a very, very long time. And then for the weapons, we have Anathema and the Touch of Chaos. So that is the what I like to call realistic best in slot gear for Shadow Priest in Phase 4. Hope you guys enjoyed my updated Phase 4 best in slot gear guide for Shadow Priests. I'm really excited for Zul'Gurub to come out. 20-man raids are a great thing for Classic WoW because of the short resets, and it's a lot easier to get a 20-man group together than a 40-man group. And what that also means is it's a lot easier for you to raid with your friends, and it's a fun raid. Zul'Gurub is awesome, so I'm super excited for that, and not to mention all the awesome gear that I went over in the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Can't wait to put out more Shadow Priest content for you guys, and like always, I will see you in Azeroth.